Welcome to my Southwest Airlines adventure from San Francisco to Tucson. So the story of how I got into this travel situation is this. It's a long one, so hang with me. I am an employee for a contract company who works with United Airlines, and therefore I get United Airlines flight benefits. I was traveling home from Medford, Oregon to Tucson, Arizona as a non-revenue traveler at the lowest seniority. So basically, I had to find flights with the most possible open seats to even have a chance at getting one. When I woke up in Medford that morning, I was planning a one-stop trip home, one stop in San Francisco. The flight from Medford to San Francisco was on a CRJ 200, a 50-seat plane with 15 open seats and nobody listed. Good chances. The second flight from San Francisco to Tucson was on an E-175, a 76-seat plane with 9 seats open and 1 person listed. Okay chances, not great, but okay. I felt pretty confident that I would get home before work the next day at 4 a.m. I go about my day in Medford and finally work my way to the airport about 1 p.m. for my 3 p.m. flight. After security, I sat down and waited. While I was waiting, I looked at my place in the listing. To my great surprise, things had changed. For the bad. For the worst. The flight from Medford to San Francisco now only had 4 seats open and 4 people listed, with me being dead last. I just had to hope like hell nobody else listed, and nobody did. But that's not the worst of it. Then, the flight from San Francisco to Tucson that had 9 seats open was now oversold by 3 seats and 8 standbys listed, not including me. So I was number 9 on an oversold flight. Wow, things couldn't get any worse. Now, I was going to be basically stranded in San Francisco till the next day, assuming that the next flight the next day would have open seats. As a disclaimer, it was also oversold the next day. At this point, desperate times called for desperate measures. I looked into every possible option to get home on a different airline. Delta wouldn't get into Tucson till the next day, same with American, Alaska, and even Frontier. I even looked into buying a United ticket to Tucson, but then it hit me again that it was oversold and they may deny some people boarding, usually starting with whoever checked in last or had no status with United. So that was a no. Southwest Airlines was my only option. This routing would take me on flight 1781 to San Diego, then flight 1394 to Tucson. For this last-minute booking, I paid $324.98. Fastest $300 I've ever spent. But my flight benefits on United are priceless to me, and had I missed work the next day because I was out using my benefits, they would be suspended for 6 months. And that was a no-no for me. So the decision was vital. So I close up my laptop and head for the exit of Terminal 3 and walk about a mile around the whole airport trying to get to the Harvey Milk Terminal 1 Bravo. It took me quite a while and a bunch of weird looks from airport staff, but I got there. I checked in my roller bag that I usually use as a carry-on/gate check on United since bags flew free on Southwest. It was a no-brainer. One last thing to worry about. Then I got my boarding passes. The first flight, I had boarding position Charlie C7 and Bravo 48 for the second flight. There was no way in hell I would get a window seat for really either flight, but I kept my hopes up. After check-in, I was terrified that security would be hella long and obnoxious because it is SFO after all. When I turned the corner of security, there wasn't a soul there, other than the agents, that is. SFO has the most ingenious security system. It's like almost entirely automated. Bins are automatically deposited in front of the passenger, then a series of conveyor belts takes it to the x-ray machine, so you don't have to push it along. Then it waits for the passenger at the end before being whisked down below the belt and returned to the beginning for the next passenger. From arrival gate to departure gate only took me a little under 40 minutes, of which at least 20 of those was spent walking from Terminal 3 to Terminal 1. Since I hadn't flown Southwest in well over a decade, I wasn't aware of their easy upgrade process. $30 flat fee for an upgrade to boarding positions A1 through A15, if there is room. I didn't realize this till I saw the ad for it at the boarding counter. Oh well, too late now. They're already boarding the C group. This was a practically full flight, so as you could imagine, there weren't any window seats available. Except one, 22 Alpha. There was a guy sitting in 22 Bravo and somebody in 22 Charlie. I pointed to 22 Alpha and looked at the guy in 22 Bravo, and he said that the seat was taken. Damn it! Either way, all that appeared was middle seats to be left. Quite frankly, I kind of considered getting off and saying sayonara to my benefits. But a very kind gentleman offered to move to the window seat and offered me the aisle seat, of which I gladly accepted. It wasn't a window seat, but at least I didn't have to sit in the middle. I have a weird quirk where I get insanely nervous, shaky, and almost sick if I don't have a window seat. I think it has something to do with not being able to have visual contact with the ground, having people constantly brushing up against my shoulders, and a big player is my ASD diagnosis. I have weird quirks and triggers, and I guess that just happens to be one. We take off from San Francisco's runway 1 left. I couldn't get any takeoff footage because 1, I was in the aisle seat, and 2, I was already freaking out, which made it really hard to really do anything. So those two really don't mix. Midway through the flight, I looked back to the open window seat, 22 Alpha, and noticed something odd. It was still open. The man in 22 Bravo basically had 2 seats to himself. Dingbat. Extremely rude. I'm still mad at the guy, and it's almost 3 months after the incident. Well, either way, we made it to San Diego, and I managed to get some landing footage from the aisle. So here it is. After we landed in San Diego, we docked in Gate 1, and as some of you know, Gates 1 Alpha, 1, and 2 are not connected to the rest of Terminal 1. Therefore, you have to go back through security, which was crazy in San Diego, due to the amount of red-eye flights heading east. So I finally got through security and to Gate 12, at which I made the decision to get an upgrade from Bravo 48 to Alpha 6 for $30. Not a bad deal. I get on the plane and sit in seat 17 Alpha. It was a pretty uneventful night flight to Tucson. Full takeoff and landing videos will come out in a few days from the publishing of this video, because I can't put 3 videos into one. I have to stretch this out as long as possible because I don't know how long this coronavirus is going to last. I will never ever take for granted the ability to pre-select your seats. I absolutely despise aisle seats, and I hope to never be put in that situation again. But it's the travel industry, and some things are inevitable. So that's how I got home to Tucson, just a mere 4 hours before my shift. Let's just put it this way, it was a very long and exhausting shift. But I made it, and I still have my benefits. So as soon as coronavirus passes over and I get my job back, I'm going to be out back flying for more footage. I hope you enjoyed this narrative of my adventure with Southwest. Southwest still remains one of my favorite airlines, if not my favorite airline out there, except their open boarding. I really did take for granted the whole assigned seating, and now never again, never again.